don't you understand this,
Communication issue.
Don't you understand that if this was the truth, if this was the truth, then it would make sense to everyone.
Like, you do understand that the Bible says that very few people are going to heaven. In fact, the only people that are going to go to heaven, according to Jesus, based on what I've read, is that you have to be able to do the things that Jesus himself did. That you have to be able to raise the dead. You have to be able to heal the sick. You have to be able to drink the deadliest of poisons or be bitten by the most deadliest of snakes. It refers to moving mountains. And it also refers to a very minimal amount of people getting into heaven.
Can I ask a question? And I'm on my phone, so I can't see the gentleman that's been speaking. All I see in his name is it says this on ... What's your name? I'll call you Guy for short then.
Guy Sensei.
So Guy, are all sins equal? I don't want to go all Darth Dawkins on you, but I'm going to ask you a couple questions here.
All right, what's up, you heathens and demons, you sinners and saints, you beautiful blasphemous bastards. Welcome back to the morning show. John will be here in just a moment, but I have something to talk about that I need to just get out of the way real quick. I usually admit, like, when I'm wrong about something, I try to correct myself, and there was one thing I was wrong about in regards to the Smokey situation. The child in question wasn't 16, but there was a 6-year difference, and the information that I had was wrong, and I admit that thing. CJ Cox, who I will be debating tonight, had an awesome stream on this subject. If you want to see it from a Christian that's in that circle, outsider kind of looking in on the situation, giving his input on everything that's went down. I thought he was very fair, very honest, and it was a great stream. I saw a good chunk of it this morning. Great stream, and I want to commend CJ Cox because, you know, we have our issues and we go back and forth on social media. We just currently had this little spat on social media, but he does often prove to me that he is an honest man, whether or not I'm going to agree with much at all of what he agrees with or puts out there. So that being said, Saturday's show, I'm hoping to really do my last show on that topic, and that will be a show that I'm going to have with Ryan the Presbyterian, somebody directly involved in this. He's going to come on, we're going to have a conversation, and yeah, I'm hoping that's the nail in the coffin of Smokey Saint. We can move on. He'll have to do whatever he's doing to deal with whatever he's dealing with. But then again, who knows? Who knows? But that's, just stuff that I had to get out real quick. John should be up any moment. It's 10:36. I want to say, what's up, chat? Veckel. What up, Veckel? What's up? Veckel's in the house. It's been a while since we talked, my dude. It's been a while since we talked. We do allow Christians to come on and challenge us. I can't allow you to take too much of my time today because I got some debate prep to do. But if you want to come on at some point, I'd love to. I definitely wouldn't mind having you on. There you are, John. Let me put you on the screen. All right. So let me get you on the screen real quick. All right.
So we could have in the same day, Darth Dawkins on MDD, and then Veckel in here.
Yeah, we'll see.
Man,
we do have that rule now. We do have that rule now, John. So we will stop to talk to a Christian. But
I got to tell you, because I knew you started out by saying you were going to correct yourself, and then I don't think you ever corrected yourself, did you?
Yeah, I did. Victim wasn't 6 years old. There was a 6-year difference.
I missed it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, there was a 6-year difference, and I was looking at it wrong, and the information that I had received from a couple Christians had put it the wrong way, and I quite actively like went off the rails about a 6-year-old child, and I needed to correct that.
I must have brain cramped or something. Like
maybe some lag there, but I mean, the good news is Rush Limbaugh died. So,
well, yeah, and I don't understand, because it was just 2 months ago. There was a lot of people online reveling in the fact that Ruth Bader Ginsburg had died and trashing her. And now a lot of those same people are online going, how dare you trash Rush Limbaugh, how dare you talk ill of the dead, like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I mean, and it is kind of a double standard, because I was, probably one of those people that was like, why are you dancing on the graves of the dead? But like Rush Limbaugh, or RBG is a hero, especially within the feminist movement. Different ideologies, but she stood for, I think, solid ethical principles, to where, as we were talking in the side chat before the show started, I think that Rush Limbaugh stood for white supremacy and atrocious principles, and did very, very atrocious things. So, like for me, watching what, the effects that Rush Limbaugh's had on this country, not only that, but knowing some of the more ruthless things he has done throughout his career, it doesn't make me sad at all. It doesn't make me sad at all.
I post it online, and forgive me if I'm, making a boomer mistake here, but because maybe it was somebody else they were talking about, but I could have swore since he passed, somebody was on social media reminding everybody that way back in the day when he first started, like on radio, that he had some segment on his program called AIDS Watch, and like he would rag on people that had died of AIDS.
Yeah, and this is a true fact. Andy covered this brilliantly in his morning show this morning. Must be next door. Andy covered this brilliantly in his morning show this morning. Looked it up on Snopes. This is a true fact. We can't find the audios. Like, I tried to find the audio of that for this morning show. I almost changed this morning show completely to just be about Rush Limbaugh. I decided not to do that. But I tried to look for it, and you can't find it because it's not there. You can't find it. But we have Rush Limbaugh talking about it, acknowledging that he did it. And as I put in Andy's side chat, I listen to Rush. I listen to Hannity a little bit every day. I joked about it in the side chat. It keeps me to the left, but I do every day. If I'm in my car, my daughter will tell you I'm listening to talk radio. I don't listen to music. I haven't in quite a long time. So I hear him a little bit every single day, and I forgot my point there, but whatever.
Well, saying you watched Rush, and I had brought up you were talking about Andy's program this morning, and you were in the live chat.
Yeah. Well, I was just like, my dad. I remember my dad talking about it, because my dad, way back in the 80s, because this happened back in the 80s. Like when Rush first started, he had that. It's not something, I don't think he's ever done it on his namesake show, the Rush Limbaugh show. This was way back before he was an ESPN commentator, way back in the 80s. I remember my dad and my stepmom having a conversation about the things Rush Limbaugh was saying about people with AIDS, because everybody was scared about AIDS back then. Everybody, it was an AIDS scare across the nation. People thought you can get it from a handshake, from kissing, from coughing. Like, people were afraid. A lot of people thought you had to be just straight gay, which was the Rush Limbaugh angle on it, because back then, Rush Limbaugh thought he was attacking gay people. He wasn't attacking straight people.
Right. So Veckel says he's working right now, unfortunately, so he won't be joining us. And then he went on to say something really weird. He said Jill, Jesus is Lord, showed strong evidence of RBG supporting pedos. But Brain Bug immediately says Veckel, no, he didn't. And I'd have to definitely go with Brain Bug here, because I have never seen Jill show strong evidence of anything other than that he is an idiot.
Well, I mean, hashtag stop the steal, Veckel. I mean, I can't tell you how many arguments I had with Veckel about how Trump is going to be our president right now. Oh gosh, these people. But like, so like the thing with Rush Limbaugh, and you know, we're not out of the woods yet, because like everybody's like, who's gonna take Rush Limbaugh's place? Like, Hannity already started to do that shit. Like Rush still had the biggest radio show. The Hannity been right on his ass for a long time. So now that Rush goes, I mean, Sean Hannity is heir apparent, right?
I mean, I guess, but I mean, you know, when I think about Rush Limbaugh, I think that, you know, any piece of shit, you know, racist scumbag that has an ability to talk could take his place, I guess.
Yeah, but like, will they reach the same message? Like, you know, because there's been a poll recently amongst Rush listeners. They call themselves what, dittos or some stupid shit. I'm not sure, but something like that. But yeah, ditto heads, something like that. But they did a poll to where they all hate every like co-host that comes on because they're not Rush Limbaugh. Like, it's gonna have to be somebody that's already established. You know, I listen to them all. So what's that American dude? Billy Cunningham, I think his name is. I think it would be between him and Hannity, because those two are the closest to Rush, and they already have a name and a following behind them. You know?
Yeah,
but I mean, it's not going away just because Rush died. This talk radio, right-wing bullshit that's been happening on the radio for 20, 30 years now. I mean, 20 years, Rush pretty much invented it. It's not going away.
Yeah. No, you were right with the 20 to 30 years, because this all started happening way back when.
Yeah, you know, Rush just popularized it. You know, he became Rush Limbaugh.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, it's just one of those things, you know. I mean, I'll say what I put on social media. The world is a little bit of a better place now that Rush is gone.
Yeah, I think so too. You know, like I am facing, you know, what he died from, right? So I know I don't want to get too carried away with it. You know, like, I do have compassion for every human being. Rush is a detestable human being that will never have a chance to change his thoughts and become a rational person. That's sad. That's over with. But you know, it kind of wakes me up when these things happen. When, you know, he had lung cancer, and that's pretty much what if I don't quit smoking these motherfucking things, that's what I'm looking right down the barrel of the gun at, right? So, but unlike Rush, I'm pretty much a poor dude. I'm not going to have all the amenities and all the extra special care that he probably got and extended his life. It's going to be a much different experience for me. So these kind of situations just kind of wake me up to what I'm trying to do here. You know, I was supposed to go get my Nicorette gum yesterday and my inhalers, and then I went to the lung specialist. That was the appointment I had yesterday, John. And she changed it all up, so I have to wait today. After the show today, I'm going to go get my inhalers, my Nicorette. She advised me not to try to quit smoking cold turkey. You know, attainable goals. If I smoke a pack a day, get it down to a half a pack a day. Use the Nicorette and get it down to a half a pack a day. Don't go cold turkey. So I'm going to take her advice. But you know, if I don't do this, that is my fate. And these kind of situations just kind of wake me up to that.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there's always a lesson to be learned, and, you know, whatever the situation is. Yeah, you know, he died, but yeah, people can take note. He died of lung cancer. So, I mean, I've quit smoking 2 months ago now. It's been, and still going strong. Haven't smoked a cigarette since the day I quit.
And trust me, guys, like John has been on me about it too. You know, he doesn't ream my ass, but he's like, you know, you might. If you can't breathe, you might want to stop smoking. So thank you, John, for that, because even though it does get aggravating sometimes, it does keep me in that mindset. You know, like, nope, I got to do this. I can't put this off no longer. I put it off all year last year, right? I was supposed to do this last year. So, yeah, Rush Limbaugh died. I'm dancing on his grave. I don't give a fuck. But I'll give you a final word, and then I want to get to Matt Powell's challenge, because I got a text message from Matt Powell yesterday.
All right.
Go ahead, John.
Oh no, I just was going to say that I've said on this program before and others and something you disagree with me on, but like when someone like Rush dies, I point out that the idea that all life is precious is ridiculous. Okay, because all life isn't, Hitler's life wasn't precious. Okay, I mean, Pol Pot's life was not precious. Hateful, bigots that rag on people because of the color of their skin or their sexual orientation. Their lives aren't precious as far as I'm concerned. Certainly anybody can change their thinking, so maybe their lives will become precious in the future when they're not.
I think I've changed my thinking since, because we have went back and forth, and that's pretty much been my position since I became a pacifist. But I'm not so much the pacifist that I used to be anymore. I've been, I'll admit, somewhat radicalized to the left, to different ways of thinking. I don't know. I don't know where I fall on that anymore, John. If every life is precious, I'm not sure where I'm going.
I mean, and the thing is that, like, okay, so it's different than actively, I wish that motherfucker died, or actively going out of your way to somehow facilitate the death of a person. But if someone that is just a horrible human being dies, there's nothing wrong with either A, being ambivalent to that, or or B, like I said earlier, the world, if ever so small, is just a little bit of a better place with Rush not in it. Sorry, that's the way I feel.
Yeah, and I'm definitely not feeling bad about rubbing it in a little bit about Rush Limbaugh. I posted a few memes. I haven't been as bad as a lot of other people, but yeah, like, to me, it yesterday was a good day, and it wasn't for any other reason outside that I got that news. I felt like shit yesterday, but it was a decent day because that mouthpiece is gone now. He can't do any more damage. Now, other mouthpieces are going to come along, but that one's gone now, and I'm not crying for it at all.
Yeah, hey, so yeah, people are echoing my concerns and telling you, hey, yeah, you got to quit smoking, Knock.
Yeah. Yep.
Ox, just remember I think it was Ox. Somebody said, I lost it, that every cigarette you smoke is one day less with your loved ones off the end of your life.
Yeah, no, I've got it. I'm going to quit, y'all. I'm going to start today. I'm after the show. I'm going to go get. I'm hoping the Nicorette works better. The patches never did. The Nicorette will have some oral fixation with it. I'm also, John, going to pick up a box of toothpicks. I've been given some advice. We're going to try this thing, and I'm going to keep trying until I do it. All right, so Matt Powell. Yesterday in our show, before we get to tonight's debate and that discussion, yesterday in our show, we were joking around, having fun with, just kind of a quote-unquote normal Matt Powell Christian video, the Bible Way to Heaven. And during that, we kind of got on Jim Jones and the Heaven's Gate cult for a moment and kind of had some fun with that. And that pissed Matt Powell off. He immediately, let me move this over here. I'm just going to show the audience real quick, John. Let me, just Matt's page.
Supposedly we discovered yesterday that the echoing problem isn't an issue anymore.
Oh, yeah, that's right. All right, so, all right.
See.
Yep. Cool. All right, so this is Matt Powell's page. A couple hours after our stream, he released this video right here, and it's entitled, "When Atheists Tell Me You've Drank the Kool-Aid, Jim Jones Was an Atheist and Communist Murderer." He sends me a text message to make sure that I watch this video, and he sent me the video yesterday at 9:43 p.m. And then he says, "When atheists tell me blah blah blah, I'm challenging you to respond to this video. Up to you. You can challenge me on any of yours as well." Like, dude, I've challenged you to address the whole, my videos proving your ass did what you did in your movie, but tomato. So, and I responded, haven't watched it yet, but was planning on it. Duh. So we're going to review this. He didn't like that.
It's like, threaten me with a good time, man.
Yeah. I mean, that's a Friday night for me. So yeah, we'll definitely be looking at that at some point. Matt, I mean, come on, don't let me trigger you so much. We were just having fun, Cupcake. But I thought that was interesting. Feeling better today, John. I feel like yesterday I was out of it. All fucking day I felt like absolute shit. My brain wasn't right. Today I feel crisp, which is good timing because I still got to get my ducks in a row for this debate tonight. So tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, I'm having a debate with CJ Cox. And I'm intentionally, I'm going to leave out our social media shit. I'm going to be fair. This is going to be a good debate. I love having these slavery debates, mainly because, I am lucky as hell and I have Dr. Josh helping me every time I have one. And I love Dr. Josh, and I want to thank Dr. Josh for all the help that he's given me to become a better debater, but also to become more informed and better educated on these topics. I am a very, very lucky person. So I want to give Dr. Josh full props for again, helping me prepare for this debate. This debate is going to be somewhat different than my other ones, John, because before I've always, had this weird argument with certain Christians that deny that Israel had slavery. This isn't that debate. This debate is, was that slavery ethical? Which to me seems a no-brainer.
Yeah, it is a no-brainer. And something I want to point out too before we move on, so Matt sent the DM, hey, check this video out, review this. Like, I challenge you. Like, no, Matt, you don't challenge anybody. But he says, Jim Jones was an atheist. No, he wasn't. He wasn't an atheist. He was the preacher of a church. He had a church with many members in it, though. You might not agree with his idea of religion, but he was definitely not an atheist. And Matt, you're labeling people atheists who are not atheists. I know that you believe that anybody that is not a Christian is an atheist, but that is not the case.
Yeah, and I don't think he was a communist either. Yeah, he had like a commune, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're a communist. I'm not sure. Maybe he was. I don't know. But I don't think he was. I never heard that about that dude.
Well, he was the leader of the People's Temple, and it does say the People's Temple cult. So maybe that's where Matt is getting that if it's a cult, it's got to be an atheist.
Yeah.
Actually, all religions are cults.
Yeah, don't get it. But yeah, so this whole biblical slavery thing, and Veckel's in the side chat, and I don't think I've ever had this conversation with Veckel, but his homeboy Jill was one of the people that I just obliterated when it came to this topic. I thought about showing my opening statement from that debate today because I like listening to myself.
And Knock, have you ever had any real conversation with Veckel?
We had some fun ones.
But remember the last time? I don't
know if they were real, but they were fun.
You asked him questions that he wouldn't answer. He changed the subject at every turn because and then he accused you of not asking questions or not staying on topic, and he was the one who was not on topic. I don't think people actually have conversation with Veckel. I think that when people talk to Veckel, they make valid points to him, and then he just says what he was going to say anyway, regardless of what his interlocutor said.
I think you pretty much nailed it. Yeah, that last conversation with Veckel, it happened on Togg's channel, and I never did cover it. But man, what That was an interesting, fun conversation with Veckel and Jill that day. I enjoyed it that day.
And that video, according to Todd, is back up again, so we got to get a hold of that.
Yeah, we should get a hold of that and check it out. I was supposed to talk to Todd yesterday about this whole other situation going on, and we never got around to it. It would have been the first time we talked in a while. And so, like, Todd, if you're listening, we can still have that conversation. I'm a bit busy today, but maybe it can happen today. Veckel, nah, just like trolling. At least you're honest. At least.
Wait a minute. Is Veckel saying, he said, I'd gladly defeat and debate you on this topic anytime. Are you talking about the topic of slavery being ethical?
Oh, yeah,
is that what you mean, Veckel? Oh, my God.
We can do this, Veckel. I'll reach out to James. We don't even have to do it here. We could do it on Modern Day Debate. I love having slavery debates. So, I mean, is it a question that it's ethical to you, Veckel? So that's the question, and that's I can't wait to hear CJ Cox's interpretation. I'm having a guess. The debate you told me about, John, it wasn't a slavery debate. It was a debate about Noah's Ark, where there was a reference to slavery, and I think I have some idea of his argumentation here, but I'm interested in hearing CJ Cox's, because I'm sure CJ Cox's argumentation is going to be somewhat rational. He does, when he's on YouTube, present some rational arguments. Twitter's a different story, but like Veckel, I'd be interested in, because he hangs out with Jill. Like, Veckel, do you think like Israeli slavery was just like, working a job, bruh?
I'll probably make a video response to this. No sweat. He says, yup, on the topic of slavery, no sweat, as far as like to you debating him.
Well, I mean, the video topic response to this, you would want to do it to the debate tonight, because that's where I'm going to get in depth,
Well, and then, and the funny thing is, I see where I made my mistake, because when they did the Noah's Ark thing, his response was, well, if God did it, then it's okay. He said that more than once in that debate.
So I'm guessing that has to be his argumentation, that it's ethical if God does it, because that's the only, like, I mean, and even that's like stretch. Like, I think I should be able to just hammer right through that argumentation.
Yeah, I mean, have no gods before me. Do not have any gods before me. But you couldn't make it one of the top 10. Don't own human beings. And something that I'm sure is going to get brought up, always gets brought up in this topic when you're debating it, is that it was a cultural thing. They basically intimate that God had to have concern for the cultural practices of his creations in deciding whether something was allowed to go on or not. I don't think that's the way that works. Wait a minute, I'm the supreme being of the universe, and then you know what? I gotta appease these people. They're used to slavery, so let's just let it go on, and I'll tell them how to do it right.
And that's kind of one of the things that I'm like excited about, because I'm hoping that he does argue that Israeli slavery was different than the other forms of slavery around them at the time, because that's something that I've always kind of conceded to Christians. Granted to Christians, but upon further research and talking to scholars, I know otherwise now. So this will be like the first debate that I really get to go into this whole notion that somehow Israelis' system of slavery was better, and that's, God influenced. I'm pretty excited to go into that, and I hope CJ Cox brings that line of argumentation tonight, because it's going to be the first time that I can kind of redefine my stance, because I'm always open to learn. If I'm wrong about something, then I'm going to change that. And I was wrong to grant that to Christians. I was wrong to state, yeah, you're probably right, the Israeli slavery was different than the rest of the slavery happening in the Near East at the time, because I know that was wrong now, and I'm better educated about it. So I'm pretty excited about that little aspect of what might happen in tonight's debate.
Somebody named is it Caleb or K Dumbass? In regards to a debate on MDD
Caleb's not so bad sometimes.
Well, yeah, I mean, but he says I'd enjoy seeing Rage get embarrassed on MDD. How could he get embarrassed? I mean, he'd have to pretty much be passed out to lose this debate. I mean, because there's no question, and there's nothing that anybody can prove to say that slavery was ethical in the Bible. I mean, you can say it all you want.
Slavery is not ethical.
It's not ethical, no matter how you cut it. And even the Israeli slavery, okay, the idea that, well, after so long, you got to let him go if he's an Israeli. But if he got married while he was a slave and made kids, then, he can either go and leave them behind, or he can say, I want to stay, and then he's got to stay forever. You can sell your daughters into slavery in Israel. If you get a slave that's outside of Israel, well, you get to keep them forever and pass it down like property. So there's just there was a loophole. I mean, if you're running a business model,
you're going to take advantage of that loophole. Exactly. Like, sure, that Israelite can be set free after 7 years, but you're exactly right. Then you just marry him and make sure he has a kid, so he has that moral and social dilemma. Do I leave my wife and child and find my freedom, or do I stay here as a slave? And the moment he decides to stay there as a slave, he's a slave for life. But even outside of that, we as a society has deemed indentured servitude to be unethical.
Brian Stevens says to you, have you and your opponent agree with what the definition of slavery is in the Old Testament? The beating your slaves, you own them for life, and then ask your opponent whether they would be your slave under those same conditions.
I usually do ask my opponents that. Jill said without a doubt he would definitely be a slave. Bullshit. Bullshit. But Jill's position is it wasn't slavery. It was like working a modern job.
Oh, by the way, Jill, if you're listening to this now or later, you still owe me $1,000, dude.
I did unban Jill, so Jill could if you think that you're still banned, you can talk, Jill.
Yeah, I showed it on Jefferson Spatchcock's screen shared my transcript from college. So anytime you're ready to send me $1,000, buddy, just go check that video out you were in. You left before I put it on screen because I'm so slow at fucking setting shit up. But yeah, you owe me $1,000, dude.
Yeah, something you'll never see. Like he had this ongoing challenge. I think it was like $100 for some bullshit or another, and like atheist after atheist did it. Nobody ever got paid.
Yeah, hey, maybe if you're a man of honor, Veckel, maybe you could pay Jill's debt for him. He's your brother in Christ.
It's been a while. It's been so long since Jill's been on the channel. I don't miss him.
No,
I don't miss him.
I would. Yeah.
So in tonight's debate, I don't know if I told you this, John, because I offered CJ a chance to have his own moderator. I'm like, John can moderate, but if you're not comfortable with that, and he was like, nope, John has never given me any reason to not feel comfortable with his moderating. So I'm like, I thought that was a pretty, considering, we've went kind of hard at the guy.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and the thing is I'll admit it right now, I mean, based on other subjects you guys have had in real life, one thing, I would never want to moderate a debate between you two on social media, because CJ is just off the deep end on social media, but it seems like when he goes live, he's, a little better. I mean, I don't see myself having to step in too much tonight. I mean, if you guys get talking over one another, because we know that doesn't translate to the audience very well. It just sounds like a garbled mess. But CJ in live streams generally, conducts himself in a reasonable manner.
And I hope he's not playing, because what really should have been defined, and this is a debate that I just it happened on social media. I kind of jumped into it. I'm planning on having more debates with him. I want to have more debates on the channel. When me and John start the new channel, we definitely want to have more debates there. I want to have more debates on Modern Day Debate. And so I kind of just jumped into it because he was calling out to debaters that with a list of topics, and I would debate almost every single topic against him. And I'm like, I'm your Huckleberry. Let's start with slavery. The topic was his topic or maybe he said was, because I think that would be a very defining part of the debate, because if his argument is it was ethical at the time, I would agree with that, especially in the Near East. So, but Right, I'm not talking. I'm talking about ethics as we, the debaters, know it. So I'm hoping he's along those same lines. Because if he brings that argumentation, it's just going to be a lot of talking past each other.
Well. And the other thing is too is you're leaving out a really important part of it. If it was ethical and is now not ethical, then how can God be the objective moral standard?
Well, yeah, and I'm sure that there was societies in that time area that would have seen slavery as unethical at the time. So it would be a very kind of, I don't know, wish-washy argumentation for him to come with in this debate, I think.
Well, right. I mean, they say God is unchanging. God is the ethical standard. It just brings up what I brought up like 5 minutes ago is why would God need to concern himself with any social practices? You know, if he's the objective moral standard, then either slave's good or it's not good. And if it's not good, then he instructs his creations not to own human beings. And if he changes his mind along the way, that means he's no longer an objective standard. Like that's...
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, to me, one of the most damning things in the Bible is the fact that God doesn't condemn slavery. You know, he tells you to care about your parents, but not about the person with the collar around his neck, right? So, to me, it's one of the damning things, and it's one of the arguments to use against the so-called what is it, objective morality of God? You know,
yeah.
So. If that's, you know, I'm sure his argument tonight is, and we've heard it from Christian after Christian after Christian, so I'm really hoping CJ surprises me, but his argument tonight is going to be, it's okay if God does it.
Well, and it's going to also include, well, times were different back then.
Times were different back then, and, you know, God can't be immoral. God can't be unethical, so if God does indeed order, because of course those passages are going to come out, the orders to the Israelites when it comes to the Canaanites. Yeah, I mean, his argumentation is going to have to be, it's ethical because it's God. Because it's not ethical by any human modern standards that we in the civilized world, or anywhere in the world, I would think, hopefully at this moment, would condone slavery.
Yeah, I mean, and I say this all the time, but if you want to know what immorality is, just read the Bible, man, and look at what God does all throughout the Bible, and you'll get a very good definition of what immorality is.
Yeah, especially, you know, that Old Testament's a motherfucker.
Yeah.
It's a motherfucker. And watching Christians run circles trying to, justify that Old Testament to themselves, it really gets my rocks off. I ain't gonna lie. I get a really big kick out of it, and that's why I do these debates.
Most Christians, when you get in that morality debate and all the things in the Bible, they go into what I call Ralph Cramden mode. If you remember the Honeymooners, hamina. They don't know what to say. I mean, the things that they do say make no logical sense. I mean, my favorite story is where God asked Abraham to sacrifice his son. You know, that kind of says it all to me right there. You know, I mean, aside from the flood and here, go kill this nation and beat the babies' heads against the rocks and all the other stuff. But the sacrifice your son thing is just, you know, that's my favorite story. I mean, because here's this loving God, asking one of his followers, you know, bring your son, sacrifice him, knowing all the way that he's not going to have him do it. The last second, psych, I know you're faithful now. You don't have to do it. And then Christians try and claim that God can't lie. Yeah, that's the definition of lying.
My favorite story is when God kills the brother who didn't want to nut in his dead brother's wife. So he nut on the floor, and God's like, "Fuck you, you're dead." That's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
I just always thought, like, wow, God really is a sick pervert.
Yep.
You know, that's funny because, like, you know, the recent social media spat me and CJ had involved incest, or not necessarily, because I should pull it up, but I'm not going to search for it. But basically, he was comparing being gay and teaching children about being gay to a list of things, and the only thing on that list that was really like something I would object to would have been incest. It was like BDSM, it was polyamory, polygamy would be the other thing that I didn't agree with on that list. I'm not a big polygamy fan. The power dynamics in polygamy often tend to side with the male patriarchy, and I don't agree with that. But I have no issues with polyamory. I have no issues with BDSM, but the discussion where CJ focused the discussion was on incest, and you know, I said like my issues with incest would be like the children and the deformities, and you know, all the things the science says is very accurate about, you know, family members having children. And so he focused on that, and that's the only reason that, and I fully admitted that as far as my worldview is concerned, yes, that's like the only reason I have against it, outside of childhood indoctrinations that I received and that I'm aware of, but are still there and still fully a part of me. So we had this like back and forth where he eventually just started saying like, yup, Knock has no issues with incest, and I'm like, CJ, you know what the fuck I said? So that's just the little spats that me and CJ have. They usually focus though more around his right-wing rhetoric than that type of shit. So
yeah, how'd that Donald Trump winning the election go for you, CJ?
He wasn't a huge stop the steal guy, but he definitely voted for him this time.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It should be interesting tonight.
5 million. That's it.
Say what?
Yeah, I just said one of the 75 million.
Yeah, but I mean, whatever. So tonight should be interesting. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, I'm hoping that I keep the energy levels that I have right now, because you know, for the last week I've had to take like 2 or 3 hour naps in the middle of the day, and I'm really hoping that doesn't happen today.
I mean, you should, if you're gonna do it, you should do it right after we're done here, so that you have time to wake up.
Yeah, I'm not. I feel good right now. I'm straight.
So Tangelo's in the house now with one of the worn out tropes about slavery. Atheists care about biblical slavery. Do they care in as much about slavery occurring right now, like sex slavery, child slavery? Have you ever done something to prevent it today? Well, okay, first of all, I don't know any, you know, people that are, you know, running slaves. Okay, if I knew them, I would point them out to the proper authorities for sure.
I've done, actually.
You know, how can you make the claim? We say we don't agree with biblical slavery, so why would that entail us not going against any kind of slavery?
And I have indeed done a couple videos in relation to the illegal slavery trade, human trafficking that goes on. I've spoken about that and against that. And yeah, I mean, outside of vigilante justice, what are we supposed to do about that?
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, if I was made aware of it in my sphere, I couldn't, you know, call the cops fast enough. I mean,
yeah. That's what you do. You call the FBI. Then, that's what you do.
Yeah, and then here's Knox saying, yeah, he's done videos on it. So that's putting the word out about it, and in a way doing something about it, making people aware of it. Your argument doesn't follow, Potangelo.
I mean, of course that we don't agree with modern day slavery. We don't agree with chattel slavery. This will be another first time in a debate, because another thing that I used to concede to Christians was that Israeli slavery wasn't like the chattel slavery that we had here in the South, and it was very much like the chattel slavery we had here in the South. So I'll get to also change that. See, that's the great thing about like learning and studying and not just being a dumbass and settling into your rhetoric. You actually have to continue to learn and study and improve and get better. And as I've done that, I've been able to not be so charitable to these Christian fucks that argue these arguments. So I'm looking forward to it. I really am.
But Angelo, are there no organizations operating to prevent sex slavery? You could donate to them. How do you know I don't, Otangelo? I mean, I'm not saying I do, but like...
Does he?
Yeah, does he? Yeah.
I love it when the Christians get all butthurt because we're talking about the slavery their God condoned, and then they try to put it on us. That goes on your God, dog.
Yeah.
Otangelo, the same as the rest.
Yeah. He's is he another same as yours?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe.
Yeah,
I saw, his debate with Brainbug yesterday was pretty good. Brainbug did a really good job. I was there for part of the after show, and then I had stuff to do, debates to watch to prepare for the debate tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I submitted a question that I admittedly I was just trying to trigger Otangelo, and he sat there with a smile on his face and didn't say a word about it. So I thought I give him kudos for that.
I'm not the one bitching all the time about biblical slavery. Having a debate is bitching. Pointing out to you the monstrous actions of your own God is bitching. Otangelo, why don't you answer to the monstrous actions of your own God instead of bitching about atheist bitching?
Hey, Otangelo, if God told you right now to sacrifice your offspring, would you do it for him?
Yeah, and Donald Goins, I do believe, Dr. Josh, are you still in the chat? I do believe I remember Dr. Josh and Veckel having an exchange on Scholars Channel about biblical slavery, but it's kind of fuzzy, so I'm not sure if that's like I'm wanting to remember that or not. So, Dr. Josh, if you're still in the chat, you could speak to that. Although he's usually at work, I believe, listening in, so he might not have access to a keyboard. But we got about 10 minutes, so we're gonna wrap this up. I do have some debate prep to do today. There are a few things me and John was talking about before the show that we'll probably want to talk about after the show. So we'll wrap this up soon, John. But expectations for tonight for me is that I'm gonna probably have my first real debate on slavery because my previous interlocutors weren't up to par. CJ Cox is now an experienced interlocutor when it comes to these debates, so a definite level up and hopefully a different level of challenge when it comes to this topic.
And it's 8 p.m. Eastern tonight, right?
Yep. My Steambot, for some reason, Steambot is not working in the side chat. It didn't yesterday. It is on. I'm not sure what's going on with Streamlabs right now.
I saw some Streamlab posts, though.
Did you? All right, there they are. All right, so it should be spamming the debate as well, just to keep you guys informed. That will be 8 p.m. Eastern tonight. I do believe it will be streamed on both channels, mine and CJ Cox, which means, John, I would have to send you the link to his StreamYard when the time comes.
Well, what? Oh, we're going to be on his StreamYard?
Yeah, because I can do my thing from any StreamYard, so it makes it really easy to dual stream the way I do things right now.
Okay. So, Otangelo, you think he asked me? You think you're superior to God, or are you all knowing? No, I don't have to be all knowing to be superior to God. I don't believe God exists.
I think I'm superior.
What?
Well, I was going to make the same point you was just going to make, so I was going to.
Okay, I don't believe God exists, so of course I'm superior to him. And then when I look at his supposed actions in the Bible, I know for a fact I'm superior to him, even if he does exist. And he also says God will not ask me such a thing to do in regards to sacrificing his offspring. And he's saying that that's a hypothetical question. No, it's right from the Bible, Otangelo. He asked one of his followers to do that.
Yeah, and he's told several of his followers to put the swords through the brains of little children, women, old people, livestock. I mean, kill them all, God's a reprehensible monster if the story in the Bible is accurate. But as John said, he doesn't exist. I don't believe he exists. I don't think it's a real thing. So, of course, I'm superior because I do exist. I am a real thing. I'm right here, right now, talking to you. So. Yeah.
I mean, it's real simple. He's a scumbag.
Eastern time.
He's a scumbag.
Eastern time on the debate. I always run in Eastern time. Time zones are one of the banes of my existence. I hate them.
Well, according to Speed, Central is the only time zone there is.
Yeah. It's pretty much depending on what time zone you're in. What the only time zone is. But all right, yeah, we're gonna wrap it up. I want to thank you everybody for being here today. Please join into the debate tonight. Should be interesting. I don't think I have anything else going on outside of tomorrow's morning show. Go watch Laughing in Disbelief, 9 a.m. Eastern time. If you want to start your mornings, Andy does political commentary and sprinkles in his comedy, so definitely worth the watch. And then Saturday show with Ryan the Presbyterian. Should be an interesting conversation. Between some old enemies. So, yeah, looking forward to that. Outside of that, if you want to debate me or John, I think we're both up to it and willing to do it. We're definitely looking for a couple of debates that we might be able to pre-record and throw on the new channel once the new channel rolls out, so we have some immediate content. But that's something that we're considering. And also, I saw something interesting. We can finish on this, John. And I'm not sure if I want to do it, if I want to step into the ring on this level yet. But the Tart guys are having a tournament of debate. And up to 12 debaters. I was one of the ones that they tagged, and I'm considering it. But I'm not sure if I'm going to step into that. Because, if I were to be defeated round one, that would be embarrassing as fuck. But I think it's a great idea. I know I did see Tom Jump respond. And I, even if I don't end up participating in that, I'm thinking about it. I think it's a really great idea, and I wanted to take a moment and promote it.
Yeah, let's go take a look at that. Is it going to be Christians versus atheists? Or
I think so. And there's going to be a prize involved. They've got a couple sponsors already donating to the prize. And the first rounds, all the rounds are going to be pre-chosen debate topics that kind of get drawn out of a hat or whatever. And then the final round, the two ones, they'll get to choose their debate. So yeah, that's my worry is round one, I get a topic that I'm not that familiar with and I get owned. So... but it is, I think, a really good idea, and I might, you know me, John, I don't usually back away from a challenge, so I might very well volunteer for this thing.
Yeah, it doesn't matter one way or the other.
It'll be fun.
Yeah, if you lose in the first round, there's no shame to that.
Yeah.
But I wonder though if it's going to be Christians against atheists, and then so if there's a set number, say there's a dozen atheists, a dozen theists,
something to find out.
Then what happens if in round one, all the theists get defeated?
That's a good question.
Yeah,
that's a good question. Hopefully, we got some good theist debaters.
I think it might be, unless it's a double elimination tournament.
No, it's going to be 11 debates in all, from what I've seen of it. But I think it's a really good idea, and yeah, that'll be some information to kind of find out, get into the details. Oz did say that people involved could email him and get the particulars. So I think I can't wait for it. Whatever happens, whether I'm part of it or not, I'll definitely be watching, and it'll be very, very entertaining. I love debate, so it'll be very entertaining for me.
Yep. And don't forget to be back here tonight, folks. 8 p.m. Eastern, and it'll be Knock against CJ Cox.
Yeah.
Is biblical slavery ethical? We all know the answer to that.
If they have them debate slavery, all theists will lose first round since it is not defendable. CJ Cox. So, yeah, it's going to be fun tonight. Thank you guys for watching today. Brainbug was going to help me last night. It's probably my fault because I got super tired and went to bed. But somebody soon is going to be helping me do my little scroll thing for Patreon. I'm very happy about that. I want to thank Brainbug for offering. Critical Cripple also offered to help. So we're going to get that fixed. I'm about to go and start debate prep after I run to the pharmacy. So thank you guys for being here, and we will see you tonight.
Be the conversation.